Sup, boys? Today, I want to talk to you all about my predictions for BlizzCon Online. Now, this is happening in just a couple of days, and this video is a little bit late, but Texas has been in a snowstorm, natural disaster, state of emergency, so you'll have to forgive me. Anyway, so for those of you guys that don't know, Blizzard decided that they were not going to do BlizzCon last year in 2020 because obviously of coronavirus, and they would postpone the announcements that they had planned for BlizzCon until a later date. Well, that later date is in just a couple of days, and that is the Blizzconline or Blizzcon Online event that they're planning on doing and showing everybody what they've been working on over the past year and kind of sharing progress with things like, I'm sure, Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2 especially. And I'm sure they'll probably make a new hero for Heroes of the Storm to, milk the last $5 out of the remaining players that still play the game, right? I'm sure there's dozens of them. So anyway, I want to talk to you all about what I think they're going to talk about and where I think it's going to lead. So obviously, let's just talk about right now. I think they're going to announce Burning Crusade. I think this is going to happen. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, I don't know. But I have a good feeling that they've got to announce BC. And this is obviously Classic WoW. People like to talk a lot of shit about Classic WoW. I do that sometimes. But you guys got to remember, I played the game a lot, okay? And I also played on a PvP server in Phase 2. So I have to be a little bit jaded. So anyway, point that I'm making is that Classic WoW is a huge success. It was a huge success. And here's a really good way to look at it. Classic WoW probably doesn't have as many players as Retail WoW does. Retail WoW has just in general more people talking about it, playing it, and everything like that. So you could pretty much infer that there are more people playing Retail WoW than Classic WoW. But here's one good way to look at it. If you invest $20 and you get $200, that's one thing. But if you invest $1 and you get $100, that's really fucking good. And if you think about the ratio there, that is insane. And the fact is that with Classic WoW, Blizzard invested $1. Let's be honest. So they have about half dozen GMs working there, and they had a dev that worked there until COVID, and they laid him off. So everything's just on autopilot. And I do expect, because Blizzard invested, in my opinion, so little into Classic WoW, that BC is just such an obvious decision. How could they not do Burning Crusade? I mean, there were so many people that didn't get an opportunity to play it. It's widely regarded as the best expansion of all time by, of course, all of the intelligent patrician players like myself. The casual plebs, of course, think Wrath is. They're wrong. Anyway, well, maybe I'll make a 40-minute video about that another time. So, point that I'm making. Burning Crusade is gonna fucking happen. There's no way that it doesn't happen. Now, again, I could be wrong, but it just seems like, and even if they don't announce it, maybe they don't announce it, but I think it's going to happen 100%. Okay? It's too easy of a layup. It's too much easy money. There's no way that Blizzard doesn't do it. So, on top of that, let's talk a little bit about Shadowlands. What are they going to announce in Shadowlands? Well, they're going to announce the next raid. What's the next raid going to be? Oh, I just got off the phone with, what's his name? Bobby Kotick, and he told me that the next raid, because, that's the guy who really runs shit, right? And they told me the next raid is going to be Drusfar. It's got to be Drusfar, not Drusfar, what are they thinking? They are from Drusfar. It's going to be Thros, which are it's like kind of the ethereal shadow realm inside of Shadowlands that a lot of the people in the Night Fae area, Ardenweald, are fighting with. I think that obviously the next transition is going to be over to Thros. Now, what else could happen besides that? Listen, we have power off a long time. I want to make sure I have my monitor on because I don't know, it makes me feel safe. And one other thing. Now, we don't have any heat in my house. There's no heat in the house. And you know what that means? That means that I don't have to put my drinks in the refrigerator, and they're always cold. You always think on the bright side. Anyway, Thros is going to happen. That's what I'm expecting to see in terms of the first raid tier. The second raid tier, I guess, since Castle Nathria was the first. I feel like that's just kind of an obvious layup for Blizzard. I think they're going to also announce probably tier sets because Ian, I'm pretty sure, just straight up said they're going to do tier sets. And the fact is that now that they're adding Valor points and are making Mythic Plus gear more competitive with rating gear, now that PvP gear is good, and also on top of that, if PvP gear is good, then less people are going to feel the need to raid. And let's be honest, corralling 20 or realistically 26 neckbeards all together at the same time on a video game in 2021 is pretty fucking hard to do. So if you're not going to get a really nice 4-piece set bonus for that, you're probably going to sit the bitch out. So that's what's been happening with raiding. I think raiding's not in a good spot right now. The gear's fucking shitty unless you do raid. On top of that, there's no real like super unique rewards to raiding. It's not like Denathrius. You know, maybe you should have made it so we could ride the sword around a little bit. Maybe not. Anyway, so point is that I do think that they're probably going to add in a new raid. They're going to have tier sets. They're probably going to have some new legendaries as well. I'm expecting that. Now, are they going to make the legendary cap from 1 to 2? I don't think that's going to happen. I could be wrong, but I think they're going to save that power jump for probably the 3rd or potentially the 4th raid tier of the expansion. Basically somewhere in, hypothetically, or, you know, I guess symbolically, the Eye of Ashara. Or no, Ashara's Eternal Palace, the raid in 8.2 back in BFA. I think that's going to be about where we'll see being able to use 2 legendaries, so I'm not really expecting to see that yet. I also think that we could maybe see flying. Now, this is probably the biggest question that I have, because obviously Shadowlands has a lot of confusing elements with flying. How the fuck do you fly into Shadowlands? Because all the zones are disconnected. And they're disconnected from a thematic lore perspective as well, so it wouldn't really make sense for you to be like, okay, yeah, let's just go get on the Griffin and fly over to Bastion from Ardenweald. That's not really the way the lore is supposed to work. Not that that's ever stopped Blizzard before, but I do think that it is going to play an effect. So we might see flying come out. I don't know really how big it's going to be. I do hope that Blizzard adds flying here in Shadowlands. We don't have some bullshit Pathfinder. We've already done that. We've already done Pathfinder like two, 3 times. Let's just go ahead and give something for people to get excited about whenever they log on. Tell them the way you unlock flying is you get on a flying mount, you press the fucking space bar. That's what I think they should do. Give it to everybody, make it a hype-ass event, get people to resub to the game, because people are going to want to experience the game from the air. That's the way that it always is. So on top of that, let's talk about Diablo 4. They're going to, you know, of course, yeah, they're going to talk about all the new stuff for WoW. They're probably not going to announce a new expansion. BC, in my opinion, is coming out, along with what they plan to do with classic servers, probably. And then after that, we're going to move over to Diablo 4. So, Diablo 4. Now, for a lot of you guys, might be a little bit of new viewers. Might not really understand my history with Diablo 3. Long ago, I sat in the same room, probably in the cold as well, because back then I could not afford heat. And I was farming in Diablo 3 for items to sell in the real money auction house. I got a sword. It was actually a pole arm or a pole weapon or whatever, and a spear, and I sold it for $150. I made that money, and I took my friends Jeff and Austin out to Pando Express. I bought them all food, and we bought our food. We had a great feast. I said, boys, welcome to the good life. And that was the only item that I ever sold. I used to love playing Diablo 3. Diablo 3 is what got me into Twitch. Diablo 3, I would sit there and watch Kripparrian. I would sit there and watch King Kongor. I would sit there and I would watch all the old OGs. If you guys have a name of an old Diablo 3 streamer, the odds are I watched them at length. And I had an opinion about them too. But regardless, I used to love Diablo 3. I had so much fun in Diablo 3. And Reaper Souls was okay. I played it for a while. I pretty much beat it. It wasn't particularly amazing. I think the original game was I don't know. It fucking sucked, okay? But somehow I thought it was better than Reaper of Souls. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion, doesn't matter. Let's talk about Diablo 4. I think that we are not going to get a release date for Diablo 4 unless they say that it's coming out in 2026. The game is very, very far in development. It's very far out in development. So we're probably not going to see any sort of like real hardline dates. I think we'll probably see a playtest for Diablo 4, and we might see a demo some point, maybe in like a few months or so, for hopefully the anointed few that may, potentially Blizzard. I haven't talked too much shit, have I? So maybe I could be part of that list. We'll see what happens. And I do think that we'll see a little bit more of it. We'll probably see a new character for Diablo 4. Hopefully we'll see something like the Amazon or a Necromancer or something like that. And obviously Diablo 4's got, it's got some pretty stiff competition. They've got Path of Exile. Path of Exile is, in my opinion, the best ARPG on the market by a mile. They've got PoE 2 coming out. So Diablo 4 is in a very precarious position. How can it compete against something that has so much content in it? And I think it's going to be really curious and interesting to see how that happens, if it does happen at all. The game could just turn out to suck. But I'm really excited and really hopeful about Diablo 4. I don't really talk a lot about it because I don't really play Diablo 3 anymore, so I don't really have an avenue to have the conversation. But I will be talking about Diablo 4 and reading every single little tiny bit of information about Diablo 4 because I cannot wait to play that game. I play Path of Exile almost every single league. Shit, I quit my stream for it sometimes. It's not actually the real reason, but that's the meme. I love the game. I love ARPGs, and so I'm really excited for Diablo 4. I think we're not going to get a date. I think we're just going to get more information, probably some item showcases, and maybe a few other bits of information and a new hero. That's about it. And maybe like 10, 20 minutes of play-tested footage, and that's probably all there's going to be. And we'll probably see some interviews with other developers, with different content creators in the coming weeks as well. So there also is probably going to be a Diablo 2. There's going to be a Diablo 2 remaster. Now, I was never one of the kids that played Diablo 2. Why is that? Because my mom is Catholic, and she thought Diablo 2 would turn me into a Satanist, so she didn't let me buy it. So never really got the opportunity to have the experience that a lot of other people did, and they really enjoy the game. They love Diablo 2. They talk about it all the time. I'm really excited to play Diablo 2 and see what all the hype is about. I don't think that I'll really have the same experience that they did then because, it's not 2002 anymore, 2003 anymore, and I'm not sitting there on a CRT monitor in middle school. So it's, you can't step into the same river twice. I guess step into the same river once for my perspective. And I'm probably not gonna get that same experience, but I do want to see how close I can emulate it and see what all the hype is about. So I do really, really hope that they do announce a remaster for Diablo 2. I also think that after the success, and this is a pretty good, there it is, shit, I can just show you guys right here. After the success of this one right here, Demon Souls, this is a remake on PS5, incredible game, by the way. If you're one of the 200 people in the world that have a PS5, I definitely recommend buying it. And not if you want to challenge, though, the game's a joke. Regardless, the remake of Demon Souls is fucking amazing. And it's amazing. One reason is because it was remade. And I don't think that Blizzard should really shy away from really trying to remake the game. Don't reinvent the wheel. But if there's a few mechanics or a few things that don't really work very well together or things that are scuffed, it's okay to polish up those edges. And I think that's also something that I hope they do with Burning Crusade 2, but I'm a lot more opinionated about that, so we'll save that for another video. Regardless, I do hope that they do a real true remastering of the game, and they do make the game as good as it can possibly be to hopefully give people the experience that they felt they had back in the day. So that's pretty much what I'm expecting to happen with Diablo, and we'll probably get more information about Diablo 4, probably not a release date, and I think we'll probably get an announcement of a Diablo 2 remaster or something to that degree. On top of that, Overwatch. Now, Overwatch, basically what they did, okay, so do you remember back in SpongeBob when Mr. Krabs had the Krusty Krab, and then Mr. Krabs made a second Krusty Krab right next to the first Krusty Krab. So we had 2 Krusty Krabs. And somebody interviewed Mr. Krabs, and they asked him, Mr. Krabs, why did you make another Krusty Krab right next to the first one? He says, money. So, Overwatch 2. I don't know what made me think of that. I have no idea. But yeah, Overwatch 2. So I'm not super excited, right? I mean, I played Overwatch 1 a lot, especially before it came out on the beta. I had a lot of fun with it. It was a really good game. And I think it is a fun game. Obviously, I've heard a lot of bad things about the meta recently, but the truth is I haven't played the game actually in over a year, so I can't really have too many strong opinions about the current state of the game, but I do like the idea of it, and I think that, you know, some of the PvE aspects of what they talked about with Overwatch 2 could actually be pretty fun and interesting. So I'm not completely sold on the idea of Overwatch 2, but I'm willing to be. And hopefully they'll announce some more information with that, probably a new hero or two. And I'm assuming they'll probably have a hero that will be in Overwatch 1, so people will get excited and start playing the game again. I think BlizzCon, a lot of people need to understand this. BlizzCon is not just something that Blizzard does, you know, because they like to give all the furries a place to show up and have fun with each other. No. BlizzCon is a trade show. BlizzCon is an advertisement. They're going to do things that are going to make people want to buy their games. So I think it's going to be completely obvious that they're going to be doing some they're going to be doing some of that with Overwatch and probably giving a new hero, maybe like a new map, something like that. Nothing too crazy, but I think that mostly they're going to be looking forward towards Overwatch 2 and showing people everything that there is to see with that. And that's kind of what I'm expecting. However, it could be a little bit different. I do think that we will get a release date for Overwatch 2 because we haven't really heard a whole lot about it. And as I kind of memed about earlier, I don't really think Overwatch 2 is particularly reinventing the wheel here. It's basically the same game with higher fidelity and another $40 probably box price. So, you know, that's pretty much what I'm expecting it to be, and I don't really think that it's going to be some sort of crazy new amazing thing or whatever. It's just going to be Overwatch 2, which is a better version of Overwatch, which, you know, that could be fun. So that's pretty much, those are the main games. Now, obviously, let's talk about some of the redheaded stepchildren, Heroes of the Storm. As I said at the beginning of the video, I think, maybe this was one of my outtakes. Heroes of the Storm, I do believe that they'll probably get a new hero, and that's to milk the last remaining dozens of players out of probably $10, their last $10 playing Heroes of the Storm. Game's pretty much dead, let's be honest. It's got an audience of people. There's a lot of people, friends of mine who I respect their opinion, who still play it and they enjoy it. That's great. I'm happy for them. I played it for a while. I'm not super excited about it, but for the people that do enjoy it, good for them. Blizzard isn't really one of them. So anyway, also Starcraft. Are we going to get a Starcraft 3? I don't really think so, personally. I don't think we'll probably see a whole lot of Starcraft information. I think the RTS genre is just so... It's almost dead. And it's kind of sad because, you know, I'm like a guy. You know, I grew up back in the 90s and the 2000s. I had Red Alert on, I think I had it on like almost a flop. No, I didn't have it on floppy disk. I had it on a CD because I remember burning the CD and giving it to my friends. I've had basically every single Command & Conquer game. I started the Warcraft series on Warcraft 2 when I was 7 years old. Warcraft 3 was one of my favorite games of all time. You know, I had like all the other knockoff ones, like not knockoff, but like not the, you know, big ones like Pharaoh, like all of the different like kind of like historical ones. Age of Empires was a huge game for me. And then of course you had, you know, Starcraft as well. I had that one too. And I bought Starcraft 2, and I didn't really play that one as much because I was already into WoW by then. But, you know, RTS is pretty much a dead genre, and it's kind of sad to see. Is it ever going to come back? I don't really know. I can't predict that. I can't really say. But what I can say is that I don't think we're probably going to see a new StarCraft IP anytime soon. I think that if we see anything, it's probably going to be some sort of remastering or something to that degree. And I think they've already remastered almost everything with StarCraft 2, so they're going to have to think of something that's a little bit more unique. I'd love to see a StarCraft 3, but who knows? Honestly, I'd love to see a Warcraft 4 a little bit more than a Starcraft 3, but after Reforged, it is what it is. So I can't really get too excited about that either. Regardless, those are pretty much the main games. Let me make sure. I'm going to check my Blizzard launcher real quick so I didn't forget anything. I don't think that I did. Let's see. Oh, I got a message. Who's it from? Yeah, that's about it. Okay. Yeah. Those are all the games. And I'm sure Hearthstone is going to have another Disney cinematic where they're happy and everything. They put probably a smiley face on Kel'Thuzad or a smiley face on, I don't know, another character in Warcraft that shouldn't have one. And they'll pass it off like a Disney movie. And it's going to be great. And it's going to be cute. And, I'm not going to give a shit about it. But regardless, those are my predictions for Blizzconline. It's going to be happening this weekend. I'm excited to see what they've got going on. I'm hopefully, most anticipating what's happening. I'd say like it's probably a three-way tie for me. I'm excited about Burning Crusade, excited about what's going to happen in Shadowlands, probably a little bit more excited about BC since Shadowlands is just going to be, I kind of just know what it's going to be, right? BC is like a completely new thing, and not new, but you know what I mean. And I think mostly, and this might sound odd, but mostly I'm excited about Diablo 4. I really am, and I'm hoping to see what they've got, and I'm hoping to see new information. I'm hoping to see some new classes. I hope they have different MMORPG elements to the game. That's a whole new video, a whole different video. But I am really, really excited for Diablo 4. I am really, really excited for Burning Crusade. And honestly, I'm really excited about WoW 2. And I'll have to admit, I'm kind of waiting to see what they're going to do with Overwatch as well. So, I, like many of you guys, are very excited to see what's going to happen this weekend. And I guess we'll have to tune in and find out. So, I'm sure that you guys will see me in another video very soon complaining about what happens in BlizzCon Online. And we'll go from there. So, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Let me know what you think is going to happen in the comments. And until next time, boys. Peace.